consulted God before you even allow him in, because now what? Look at you. You don't want to let him go.
I bring me, get mine, about mine, go hard, looking for another like me. I bring me.
Hi guys, I'm Janae. If you are returning, welcome back to my channel. If you are a newbie, then hi me more. Hopefully you like what you see, so you can subscribe by the end of this video. If not already, and join the family, because we would love to have you, okay? So it is a new month. Can y'all believe it's already February? That's crazy to me. But anyway, with it being a new month, I like to dedicate my first content video to a life lesson, either that I'm in the process of learning or that I have already learned just throughout my life. Today, we are going to be focused on distractions. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. When I looked this definition up online, it said that a distraction is something that prevents someone else from giving their full attention to something. My personal definition is pretty much the same thing. Something that is in your way, something that is stopping you from getting to where you're supposed to be, from doing what you're supposed to do. So pretty much the same definition. Now, a distraction can come in different ways. However, I've narrowed it down to two different types based off of the feelings that they give you. So some distractions, when they come into your life, they already automatically off rip make your spirit feel uneasy, kind of weird, like it just doesn't feel right. Those types of distractions are easier to label as an actual distraction. However, you do have some distractions that come your way and it just feels very comfortable, very familiar, like it was a missing piece to your puzzle. It can kind of seem like it was sent from God, but in actuality, it wasn't, at least not to stay. So with distractions, who sends distractions your way? I feel like two people, or whatever you want to call it, can send distractions your way. The enemy, which we can refer to as the devil, and God, our Heavenly Father, they both can send distractions our way. But I'm going to tell you like what's the difference in all of that. One thing they do have in common though, the enemy and God, they both be working hard, but their intentions are different. The enemy works hard to break you down. God is working hard to build you up, to lift you up. So when they send distractions our way, it's for two completely different things. Disclaimer, all of this is just from my perspective. So you are definitely 100% open to disagree, and I'm completely fine with that. But again, this is just my perspective of things. So when the enemy brings a distraction your way, it's more so, like I said, to break you down. He wants to make sure that he gets you to the most vulnerable state, and he is going to take what was supposed to be yours, or what was yours, but not anymore, because you allow a distraction that he sent in. When God sends a distraction, I feel like that is more so of how bad do you want something? You know, how patient are you going to be for this? So I'm going to give you two different examples because I know it can be a little bit confusing. One example is dealing with your workplace, your career. Let's say you have been praying for a new position, or you've just been wanting a new position at work, like just a higher position. You've been praying for it, right? So you get the opportunity to rise up, to elevate. That's what you've been praying for this entire time. And let's say you accept the position right on site, as soon as it's offered to you. But a couple weeks later, maybe a month or two later, you get an even better position, but you missed out on it because you already accepted the other position. So the one that was pushed aside that you were not able to accept, it was better. But you went and accepted the first position or the first offer. Now keep that in mind. So the next example I have for you is relationship based. So let's say you've been praying for a partner, a significant other to just cater to you, treat you how you deserve and desire, all of this, right? Somebody comes along, you're happy, you're content, you're satisfied. They may not check off every single box. However, they check off quite a bit. So you're intrigued. You allow them in. And later you realize like, yeah, this wasn't the person for me. Like this is something that I was not supposed to accept or allow into my life, or this is not someone that I was supposed to accept and allow in my life. With both of those examples, that position and that person that came, those were distractions. At least they could have been distractions, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes distractions can also be lessons. They can play both roles, I feel like. However, we'll get to there. So anyway, back to the examples. Both of those situations included a distraction. How in the world are you supposed to know if it's a distraction or not? Consult with God. I feel like that is one of the most important things that you can do when you are making any type of decision, consulting with him, because he knows exactly what is for us. He knows what he sends to us, obviously, and he knows what he does not send to us. So even if something feels right, or even if something feels familiar, something feels like this is what I'm supposed to do, still consult with him, because sometimes we don't see things the way that God sees things. A lot of times we don't see things the way that he sees them. So why not consult the source? And then that would just alleviate a lot of unnecessary distractions that we allow into our lives. Now, I'm not saying that the position that was accepted in the first example or the partner that was let in the second example are bad things or bad people. However, it's just the fact that that's not the position. That wasn't the person for you at the time. That wasn't the person for you. It was sent to you to distract you. So now with the distraction, how I said earlier, how a distraction can also be a lesson. People make mistakes. And God knows that we make mistakes every single day, every single hour. We are making mistakes, not intentionally, but we make them. And he knows that. So I feel like in those types of situations, when we let a distraction in and we honestly didn't realize it was a distraction, as long as we do what we need to do, repent, ask God for guidance, then he will allow that distraction to be a lesson, just a learning lesson. But what you do with that lesson is up to you, because God can only guide us so far. He can't physically tell us exactly what to do, because that's where faith comes in. How bad are you going to trust him? You know, how much are you going to trust him? That's up to the individual. I feel like without consulting God and you just start making decisions on your own, which honestly all of us do. All of us make decisions at some point without consulting him, without going to him. However, when we do and we make a not so good decision, when a distraction is allowed in our lives, or when we allow a distraction in our life because at the time we didn't realize that's what it was, I feel like that's when things can get a little bit sticky. Because once a distraction is in your life, it is hard to remove it. No matter if it's a thing or if it's a person, it can be hard to remove or to stop, whatever it is. Now, distraction does not always have to be an opportunity or a person. It could literally be a habit or a hobby, something that we do on a daily basis. Sometimes a distraction can be watching your favorite podcast just to avoid your own problems, because the podcast is talking about healing, but you don't want to heal within yourself, so you prefer to listen to other people about certain things or whatever the case may be and not apply it to your life. Like, that's a distraction. It's distracting you from what you're supposed to be focused on within yourself, but you're too busy focused on other people or other things. So a distraction literally can be anything. So be careful, because like I said, once you allow a distraction in, it is going to be difficult to remove that distraction from your life, or to stop that distraction, if that makes sense. Now, when the enemy sends a distraction, again, this is just my opinion, I feel like the enemy sends distractions. If we, got a tough exterior and we like, you know what, I know this is here to distract me, to get me off my game, I'm not here for it, like, no. You think the enemy don't like that? Absolutely not. So just like I said in the beginning, the enemy and God, one thing in common is that they going hard. They working real hard. But that enemy is working to tear you down, to break you down. So if you do not accept a distraction that he sends your way the first time, he just gonna come even harder the next time. That's yet another reason we should consult with God, or just have that relationship with God, because God gonna protect us. He's going to protect us, but we have to make sure that we verbalize that we need him to protect us, even though he's gonna still do it anyway. But he's our heavenly Father. Emphasis on the Father. Like, he can only guide us so much, because we are still an individual. We still make the decisions that we want to make. We move where we want to move. We move how we want to move. But when you have that relationship, I feel like that would just not make your life easy, for sure, because you are going to get tested, especially with distractions. But you just have to make sure that that relationship with him is solid. So when something does come your way, your spirit, like, it is already convicted if you start to accept it, or if your thoughts start to gear a certain way, you're going to feel conviction, which will help you determine whether this is a distraction sent from the enemy, whether it's a distraction sent from God, whether this is a distraction at all. Because sometimes it's not a distraction, and it's the exact thing that you need. It's the exact thing that you have been praying for, that you have wanted. Like, it's literally for you. So it's not always going to be a distraction, but I honestly just feel like we know when something or someone comes in our life to distract us. Because just think about it. Have you ever been like, if you ever told yourself like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, whatever it is, going to the gym more, eating healthy, traveling more, saving money, whatever it is, and then something randomly happens. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna just do it one time. One time can't hurt me, like, you know. But one time turn into 3. 3 times turn into 6. 6 times turn into, okay, it's a whole new year. I'm gonna just try it again this year. And no, sis, we don't have time to waste. And that's what it is, wasting time. We don't do that, okay? We're done with that. We have done it, but we're done with it because it doesn't get us anywhere. So be aware of these distractions because they come in left and right. Just make sure that you realize when you are navigating through life, not just this year, but just the rest of your life, and something comes your way and tries to knock you off your game, understand that 9 times out of 10 it was a distraction. But if you are not 100% sure, talk to him, consult with him, because that's what he's there for. Even if you feel like you're 100%, just get confirmation, and he will definitely send us confirmation. Like, he'll send us some signs, okay, and some confirmation if we ask for it. But we have to be willing to accept what he says, and don't get too far deep, because if you allow somebody in, y'all been together, or y'all been talking, whatever you want to call it, for 3 to 6 months. It's gonna be a little difficult to just let that person go. You should have consulted God before you even allow him in, because now what? Look at you. You don't want to let him go. You don't want to let her go because you're now emotionally involved in it. You don't want to let this position go or that opportunity go. But the longer a distraction is in our lives, the harder it's going to be to remove it. It's gonna be hard regardless, but the longer it stays, the harder it's going to be. So consult him off rip, just to see, just to get confirmation, just to know. Something that I always say, like, God, if you did not send this thing or this person towards me, remove it. Do what you gotta do to remove it. Because I know, depending on what it is, there's no guarantee that I could just be like, you know what, get out of my life. I don't need it. I quit, or I don't like you, whatever the case may be. If God did not send it my way, I don't want it. I do not want it. And even if he sent it my way, but I got it prematurely because I kept begging for it, and so he was like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you, even though I'm trying to tell you you're not ready for it, I'm gonna give it to you because that's what you've been asking for. That's still a distraction. Even though this thing or this person was for me, it's like, if something comes prematurely before you are ready for it, it's gonna mess you up. Even though whatever comes your way could possibly be for you, if you get it before it's time, then that could be a distraction, because it is distracting you from elevating yourself, or it's distracting you from becoming this person that you're supposed to be to receive it. If you're supposed to receive something in September, but you begging nonstop, like, I'm ready now, like, I deserve it now, and you get it in like March to September, you were supposed to be becoming that person, that September version of yourself. But because you just demanded for it, you got it in March, and now you're not ready for it. So that can cause you to lose it for good, or to knock you off your game. Who wants that? Because you, like, come on now. Don't nobody want to be knocked off the game. So just make sure you are moving correctly. But yeah, I don't want to make this too long, and these are just another disclaimer. I know I already gave you one, but this is another disclaimer. This is not a TED Talk, or this is not a sermon. This is a conversation between me and you. So it's not going to be structured. It's not going to be like, you know, so just throwing that out there. And again, of course, we most definitely have the ability to disagree. So we can just agree to disagree, and that would be cool with me. But yeah, as you navigate through life, just be cautious of the distractions that come your way. Consult with God, whether you feel sure about something or whether you feel unsure about something. Consult with him. Follow your gut feeling. Like, follow that, you know? Pray for God's guidance. Pray that you start to see things and start to see people the way God starts to see them. You know, ask for alignment over your life. Like, there are so many different things that you can ask for where you can know off rip, like, yeah, this is not for me, you know? That was the video for today. Hopefully you guys took like 2 or 3 things away from it, or just one. I don't even take one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. These videos are not going to be long at all, real straight to the point. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and we will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of the week.
What you get is what you see, and I bring